we do this thing, taking all fast lane, no coasting, and everything is going to be all right. We talking about, we talking about tonight on the Daily Go Getimism show on this Power Monday. We got some things we got to talk about tonight. We have some things that we have to talk about tonight, and we are going to get it popping like immediately. I wonder how y'all feeling out there. I hope y'all had a good Monday, started off the week with a bang in a good way. And I hope y'all have a very, very good and productive, constructive, and a positive week. Positive week ahead. We got 1 day down. 4 more to go before the weekend. Shout out to all my people who work on the weekends, though. Shout out to all of y'all. But we got to talk about tonight. January 6th. January 6th versus vandalizing or the vandalism of Tesla dealerships. It's time. It's time we had to talk about this. And I'm going to tell you why it was time for us to talk about this. Because, you know, I'm hearing so much propaganda, so much rhetoric about this whole vandalizing Tesla dealerships and destroying and vandalizing the charging stations for Teslas. And there are a lot of opinions about it. But one of the opinions that I've heard very recently by Elon Musk himself, he seems to believe that only the Democrats are destroying these Tesla dealerships and charging stations and the cars themselves. I'm thinking like, it's funny, like how you can claim that one party is responsible for a crime where you haven't caught anybody that is telling you that it's an organized form of protest or insurrection or rebellion or destruction or anything. Nobody has admitted that, yeah, we all got together and decided that this was the way we were going to handle this thing. Nobody has done that. So I'm wondering, like, where is he getting this from? You think you've only made Democrats mad? So on January 6th, 2021, I guess those were no Democrats, right? Those were no Democrats that stormed the Capitol, beat up police, broke in the building, shit on the floors, pissed in the halls. No Democrats involved in that. But you believe that it has to be the Democrats that you pissed off because no Republicans are mad at you. Like, how's your relationship with Marco Rubio? Elon? How about Steve Bannon? How's your relationship with Steve Bannon? Yeah, well, I mean, you know what? Let's do something early. I want to see what Steve Bannon thinks about this. Has he spoken on this Tesla dealership destruction thing? I want to see. Let's see what Steve Bannon has to say. Let me see. Steve Bannon on destruction of Tesla dealerships. Let's see. Looks like Steve Bannon mum's the word with Steve Bannon. No comment from Steve Bannon on destruction of Tesla dealerships. Steve, like, look, I told you I didn't like him. I told you I didn't like Elon. He gotta go. He gotta go. That's what Steve said. That's what Steve said. Hold on, let me make sure my mic right, man. Are we good? I don't want to be. We good? We clear. I don't want the mic too close. You know, when it sounds a little distorted when it's too close to my mouth. So I want to make sure that is placed properly, and that we coming through and HD audio. Make sure we clip crystal clear. My people's Omar, my namesake Omar is all up in the house. What's good, my dude? Good to see me some you. And T Carry right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your side. Yeah. And who's that? Ooh, or is that oh? He said, what's good, Chin Strap? Where's our girl at tonight? Our girl. She's close by. Yeah, she's close by, without a doubt. And Grunge Revival 101 says Matt. I don't know what Matt is. But yeah, that's what we're talking about tonight. So what we want to do tonight is we want to contrast the January 6th Capitol invasion, insurrection, whatever, and we want to compare that to the destruction, demolishing, vandalism of Tesla dealerships. I mean, well, one of the things that they both have in common, both of them are in response to what people would consider to be something that was unfair. January 6th was a response to those insurrectionists believing that the election was stolen from them, and they felt like they had to do something in order to get justice. They didn't feel like the courts was giving them the justice that they needed. They felt like the whole thing was rigged, and that it was a hoax, and that it was a setup, and that Joe Biden, they honestly believed that Joe Biden had stolen the election. And the reason that they believed that wholeheartedly was because Donald Trump, their leader, who they admitted was their source of information about the whole, stealing of the election thing. They credited Donald Trump with telling them that, and they believed what he said, and they wanted to get justice for him. So that's what happened. That they did that under his direction. Now that's the thing. That's one of the things that separates the January 6th thing from the Tesla burning of the dealerships or whatever. They don't have a leader. Whoever is doing this destruction of the dealerships thing, they don't have a leader. Nobody has told them this is not about an election. That's why I'm wondering why Elon Musk seems to believe that it's the Democrats. Like, what is a Democrat? Only Democrats lost their job? You mean to tell me that nobody who voted for Donald Trump lost any of their jobs? None of those veterans in the VA lost their jobs. None of those federal workers who have been semi-forced to resign, or really, really overly influenced or encouraged to resign, and people who are losing their Social Security, I'm sorry. You mean to tell me all of them are Democrats? Okay, what we got? Dan, what's that? Dan Poe, or was that Dan POI? Says it was stolen. No, it wasn't stolen. He lost. He knows he lost. He lost. And he would have, I believe he lost this past election too. But punk ass Democrats just conceded so fast. Yeah, Donald Trump lost that election. He lost it. He lost it by a lot. He claims that he won this one by a landslide, but he didn't. And regardless of whether I like Donald Trump or not, fair is fair. He won this election. That's that. You know, we don't have to go into all of that, but he lost in 2020. And he should have lost this one because y'all letting him win this one. I said this was going to be a nightmare, and boy, this is like a nightmare while you have your eyes open. Oh well, a dream is a dream. Lose cues. What's good, man? And Full Metal Chad, my man, Full Metal Chad, what's good? So y'all see what we talking about tonight. We gonna yuck it up about this. Y'all see the poll question? Which violation was worse? January 6th. Let's see, only 9 people have participated so far. Look at this. Which violation was worse? January 6th Capitol invasion, 22%. Destruction of Tesla dealerships, 44%. Pardoning of January 6th invaders, 11, and cutting benefits for veterans, federal workers, seniors, 22%. I'm interested to see how this poll is going to go as time goes on tonight. If y'all would like to call into the show, for those of y'all who have never been here before, there's a phone number up there that's pinned, and it's there for a reason. If you would like to call in and speak your piece, this is a totally interactive show, and this is a totally uncensored show. When you call in, I cannot control what YouTube will allow as far as their community guidelines in the chat. But when you call on the phone, you can say whatever you want. You can spit that heat, and I encourage you to do so. So, in other words, when I say no censorship, if you want to curse, you want to cuss, you want to swear, you can do it right here. If you want to holler, scream, and yell, yo, do that shit. Do tell. If you want to kick all that racist shit, yeah, I'm going to let you spit. If you want to talk black power, go do it. Let it rain like a nuclear shower. I'm not going to stop no expression. Hold on. Let me get a suggestion. All right, hold on. We got a call already.
You have a call.
We got a call already. Caller with the last number is 5639. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. What's on your mind tonight? Thank you for calling in. What's good?
What's up?
Hey, I recognize that voice. Howdy. How's it going? What's good?
It's going.
All right. So you see,
first, I can't believe this man is taking such interest in destruction of inanimate options versus the destruction of lives, people, humans. That's just the first thing. Are we serious? This Tesla has nothing to do with the country, the globe. Well, what happened at the riot had to do with the country. But Tesla? Okay. Make it make sense. That's all I'm saying. This juvenile idiot is always this. Here, why not worry about telling secrets, and being on open mind, inviting people on, and no one knows they're there, and they just hear all the secrets of what's about to happen. I'm just, we're not worried about that. I don't give a fuck about goddamn Tesla. The average person can't afford one, nor do they want one, because they're not attractive vehicles. That's Elon's problem. And the people who have purchased them and destroying their own property, that's their problem. That's not a me problem. That's not a people problem. That's not a country problem. It's not a globe problem. It's not even a problem that matters.
Well, depends on how you look at it. Because Elon Musk feels like I donated almost $300 million to this campaign. I bought this presidency. So I'm the real president. and I'm making moves. I'm giving out orders. I'm cutting off people. I'm telling people to quit, or I'm firing people. I'm laughing at them. I'm on stage with a chainsaw. You know. I've had to terminate people. I've been terminated before. And I've seen other people, get fired from jobs and stuff like that. But one thing I've never seen, I've never seen anybody get fired and be ridiculed on TV about it. Maybe not by name, but by group. Like I've never seen like a whole plant, like a auto plant or some kind of factory, where there were mass layoffs or whatever. I've never seen a bunch of people get fired and then the person that let them go be on TV that night like, yeah, let them all go. You have a chainsaw like, we're going to cut some more. We're cutting. Like I've never seen
a celebration. Like it's time to celebrate.
I've never seen. That's the most unethical thing and the most insensitive thing I've ever seen. And how did you think that wasn't going to get any backlash? Like, how would you think that? Like, are you crazy? Like, if I don't, like, I'm on this show. Imagine me telling 1,000 or thousands of people, like, yo, like, I'm going to do something and say something that will affect their lives directly. Like I'm going to affect their livelihood directly. You think nobody is going to find me and have a talk with me, quote unquote, at least? You think nobody is going to, do you think I'm going to be able to rest easy at night? Do you think nobody is going to make me feel like they feel at least a little bit?
What I do know is people are crazy. And when times get tough, it brings out a different kind of crazy in people. It brings out desperation. And when people become desperate, something else opens up. A different kind of reaction comes with it. And I don't think either one of these morons are prepared for. Because when people become desperate, there is no protection. Because they forget about anything that matters. Because in desperation, they become a different kind of maniac. And what seems like a common conversation turns into, now I want revenge because you have destroyed my life. And that's what comes from that. That comes from this kind of let me play in your face kind of shit. Like right now, we're dealing with a bunch of employees, federal workers, government workers who are for the USPS who are out marching. I heard the guy say on the news yesterday, because here it was raining and cold, and over the weekend, I'm sorry, it was raining and cold, and they were out protesting. Mm-hmm. And the news people were like, "You guys are out here in the cold and rain." Like, well, you don't mind us out here in the cold and rain when we're delivering your mail. So we're used to this. And what we're fighting for is what helps us and you. You should be out here too. Because if they privatize the postal service, how do you think it's going to affect everyone else? How do you think it's going to affect you? Like this whole thing about Tesla is so stupid when we have these people here. We have teachers who are losing their jobs. We have children who are not going to be educated. We have youth who may or may not be able to afford to go to college. So that's going to limit. And let's walk back a little bit on the whole conversation when they were saying Americans weren't, no, let me be exact. White American men weren't smart enough to have good jobs. They weren't smart enough to have the jobs, so let's bring in people from other cultures or other countries to have these jobs. Remember when they said that? So now they're guaranteed that these children aren't going to be smart enough to have these jobs because people in the United States They already fall behind with the rest of the kids around the globe. Our children are born with one language naturally. Other children, every place outside of the United States, at least have 2 or 3 languages before they're born that are taught to them. And then they come out learning more. Our children fall behind in everything already. So now he is given the green light for them to absolutely know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're worried about some Teslas. Fuck them cars.
Hey.
That weirdness man and his weird ass hair plug and his badass child and his weird ass parent. Fuck him and his vehicle. Fuck him and his crashing ass airplanes or spaceships or whatever that seem not to do well. Fuck him. Fuck his cars. Fuck all that. We have bigger things on the plate, but this idiot orange bag of stupidity is impressed by an election that was bought for him. He's impressed and riding the dick of a man because he has more money than him. He's impressed by other people in power that he will never have. He's impressed by respect that he will never gain. He's impressed by little things because he's a little man with a little mind. And we are going to be the product of his foolishness and his ignorance. He's an idiot. He's an absolute, total idiot. He says idiot things. He does idiotic stuff everywhere he goes. And he's an embarrassment to this country. And he is focused on, call it 20 years. 20 years?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've been saying for years that politics is all about money. And it is. It keeps reinforcing itself, improving itself time after time after time. And if you follow the money, you'll find the truth. All you have to do in this whole situation is follow who is cutting the checks and who is collecting them. And the truth is right there. All that other shit does not matter. So it doesn't matter. What matters is how those veterans, those seniors, those federal workers, it matters how how they've been financially affected, but it does not matter how they feel. So that's what we're dealing with here, because they have been dealt a financial blow that has affected their livelihood and their future. Now they want to make sure that somebody else understands what it's like to struggle financially, even if and it's proven that anybody of any financial bracket can still struggle financially. So if you are a multi-billionaire, or the richest man in the world, like an Elon Musk, you can see what it's like to have your fortune significantly reduced to the point where you may be running neck and neck with Jeff Bezos in a little while if this keeps up. So even though he's uber rich and uber wealthy, he can still have concerns about not being as wealthy as he has built himself up to be and how he needs to be. See, once you get yourself up to a certain income bracket, you need to be in that income bracket because that's all you're used to. And now all of your expenses require that much money. Down at this level, we don't understand that because we figure if we could get that, if we could get half, 1/4, 1/10, 1/100th of the wealth that he has, we would be okay and would be set for life. However, he's not in that position. So, all right. So the bottom line is this. You can't play around with people, with people's money. You can play around with their mind. You can play around with their bodies, but you can't play around with their money because they need their money to sustain their minds and bodies, not just of their own, but of their children, their spouses, their families, their loved ones, their friends, their communities. So you start playing around with people's money who are already struggling with money, you pretty much leave them on zero. And that's not going to go over well. And I think that's the lesson that's being learned.
You have a call.
Hold on.
From.
I think that's the lesson that we are being taught, or that they are teaching America. Americans don't fucking play when it comes to injustice. They may not always do things the right way. They may not always shoot and aim in the right direction, but they will not sit on their ass and be destroyed or hurt or played around with by somebody just because they have a lot of money. They're not going to have that. So
especially if it's someone they didn't welcome or invite.
Well, here's the thing.
He wasn't welcome and he wasn't invited.
Here's the thing. Republicans want you to believe, especially Fox News, they want you to believe that Republicans don't have a problem with Elon Musk.
Well, that's not true.
They know it's true. I know it's true. They know it's true too. But
even
as far as
cabinet, they have a problem within their group. There is a problem. We see the tension. We saw the tension when he first started selecting the cabinet, when he brought him in. I can't ever remember the lady's name because I can't remember the nickname. 1920. I want to say it's Susie or something. I don't know. The old lady who looks like the cover of a Betty Crocker cookbook from 1922. Her.
Yeah.
She cannot stand Elon, so we can see it.
Yeah. He has a lot of enemies, whether they are outright or silent. But because so many of the news outlets have been compromised, it's compromised media. That's what we're dealing with. So they're gonna make you think. And Donald Trump does the same thing. He sits right in front of the camera and says, "Oh no, the American people don't care about this, that, and the third," as if he can speak for them. Now, some people are going along with it, but not the people that have been fired. They don't want to hear that shit. I
was listening to. I wasn't watching. I was listening to one of the town hall meetings. I don't remember what state it was. I don't remember the governor, but the governor was in there, and his constituents were angry, and it was a Republican state.
Mad as hell.
He came in and he started talking, and he was saying, things are going to get better, blah 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 blah, because they're going crazy. They're angry. Why aren't you protecting us? And now our Social Security is going to be gone. We work. We're farmers. Blah blah blah. And so he says, well, if you guys, if Kamala, and as soon as he said Kamala, some guy out of nowhere said, "Shut up!" He's like, "I don't want to hear about Kamala. Tell me what Donald Trump is going to do." And it just seemed like an eruption occurred right after that.
Because they don't want to, don't nobody.
Mentality.
Listen, people are being confronted with the fact that they were doing better 3 months ago. They were doing better 4 months ago. And they was this time last year, they was bitching like they didn't have nothing. Now they really have nothing. How does it feel? Well,
they said farmers. He said the farmers love him. It's going to do great for the farmers. There was a guy out there who was a farmer. He said, not only do I not have anyone to work in my field, he said, I don't have anywhere to put what I am producing from my field. He was like, I don't have anyone to buy them. I don't have anyone to help till the land and collect what I'm growing. He said, so this has been a waste for me. I'm losing money hand over fist. And he was like, how is this going to help me, what you're talking about? And he was angry. He said, I don't care about anything that this man, he said, I don't care. He said, I don't mean to sound harsh. I don't care about Putin. I don't care about that war. I don't care about Elon. I don't care about anything. I'm concerned about what was promised to me when I voted. And he was like, I haven't seen any of it. I was told things would happen in the first 24 hours. He was like, and nothing has happened. He was like, not only has nothing happened that I was promised or guaranteed, but everything that I was told would not happen has not only happened, but it has tripled. It was like the cost of supplies, the cost of groceries, the cost of my utilities, the cost of gas, that these things have quadrupled more than they have ever been. And he said he's been a farmer for 25 years. So these people are retaliating again. It is in desperation. This is going to end up bad. Someone is going to be hurt. I do believe that is the way it's going to be. I'm not wishing it, because I don't wish death on anyone. I don't wish harm on anyone. But I'm just saying, somebody is going to end up hurt. That is a fact, because we're living in desperate times with desperate people who are concerned. And because of that, money was already tight. And now, tight, that's an understatement.
Well,
this is going to get worse.
Things are somebody is going to get hurt, but I think that it's going to be more of a financial pain than anything else. One thing about this administration is that it's going to bring to light, like, people who thought that they understood politics before are really going to be forced to learn what they're about this time. Because what people are learning is that their disgruntled nature, they're yelling and they're screaming and they're protesting and they're marching and they're complaining isn't really doing anything. They are learning that nobody gives a fuck. They are learning that all of these executive orders that have been signed and all of that, this is the way he wants government run. They are learning that it shouldn't be this way, but it is this way, and it's going to get a lot worse. That's what they're learning.
Don't forget to add, they're also learning he doesn't even care about the judges he put in place to do things. He doesn't even care about what they say, because he just sneaks under the dark of night or early in the morning and does what he wants to do. And then tomorrow he and his people say, I don't care what the judge says. And nothing happens. So
okay. Hey, listen. All right. So this is what I want to do. I want to stick to this whole Tesla versus January 6th thing, because, although both of these crimes have similar properties, one thing that separates them is that you had a central figure that encouraged the whole January 6th thing. With this whole Tesla thing, we don't know who's doing it, but I think it's absurd to think that only Republicans would be only Democrats would be participating in this action. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. So you mean to tell me that you see all of these town hall meetings all around the country, all in these rural areas, and how quick you think it's bad in the city, as far as gun violence is concerned, what it's like out in rural areas. Like, it's a whole that Second Amendment thing is a whole vibe. And the thing is, it's always over not just protection, but over losing their rights. First of all, the right to carry a or right to bear arms or whatever is something that they are willing to die for or literally shoot for. So what makes you think that the NRA is or whatever wouldn't be involved in this whole thing? So okay, so I'm saying all of that to say this. I'm saying all that to say that I'm sure that Republicans are participating in this whole burning of the dealerships and all of that kind of stuff. If they didn't have any problem showing their faces and storming the Capitol and wholeheartedly believing that they would get away with it, what makes you think that after being pardoned for that they wouldn't do something else that would maybe help them avoid jail time but still be as effective. Because see, January 6th didn't do anything for them. They didn't do it.
Consider the location too. Don't forget that. Let's just think about this for a minute. How many locations or areas do you think that are heavily populated with Democrats have a Tesla delership? Let's really think about that.
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question.
And I agree with you. Both are crimes.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, one is a crime that is personal property. It has nothing to do with the country. The other was a crime against the country. The other was treason against the country. This is just a crime of personal property at the end of the day. And again, what location would these dealerships be? Where would these be? Who would be parked with a Tesla that's a Democrat and a heavily Democratic area? That not just Democrats, independent, any of them.
Well,
most Teslas are found in places where there are Republicans and people with money. Do you think these people, the same people who got angry and poured out, who ripped up their annual passes for NFL when they were mad at Kaepernick, these are the same people with the money who have those passes who have Teslas. So these cars are parked in those areas. Do you think they allow anyone who has a lower wealth level to be in their areas to come and destroy those properties? No.
Well, I'll say this. Regardless of where the dealerships are, people will travel. I mean, after all, with January 6th, they weren't from DC. They weren't from the DMV area. But they made sure they got there, and they did. Shoot, when United States goes to war, we don't fight on domestic soil. We travel. You know what I mean? We take our guns with us. Now, this is not a situation where we are inflicting violence on anyone, but they're calling this domestic terrorism because they're saying that it's domestic terrorism because of the molotov cocktails that have been used, which are being labeled as weapons of mass destruction. Molotov cocktails, weapons of mass destruction. So I'm like, wow. So when the Italian mob was throwing these Molotov cocktails at each other like they was tossing each other tennis balls, I don't remember any of this shit being labeled as weapons of mass destruction. But we're here, and like I said, the January 6th insurrectionists have been pardoned, and so that's something that we have to deal with. So I'm wondering, with these, have they caught anybody? Do you know? I haven't heard of them catching anybody who has done this yet. I think that's interesting. I think that's a little peculiar. Huh?
They have not. They'll probably start blaming anybody randomly. They'll probably say it's the Venezuelan gangs or some dumb stuff like that next. So, but no, they haven't caught anyone yet.
Okay, wait a minute. In the chat, Gavin was talking about how you were talking about that these Tesla dealerships are in mostly red states, and he says San Francisco has Teslas like Hondas. San Francisco is not. San Francisco in 2025 ain't nothing like San Francisco in 1975. You know what I mean? Like, it costs a lot of money. You don't hear a lot of people saying that they're from San Francisco anymore. You know, they might maybe Oakland, or they'll say the Bay Area. Well, it ain't easy to live in San Francisco no more. And just because you are in a blue state doesn't necessarily mean that you are in a blue district. But like I said, I don't think it matters whether the dealerships are in a red district or a blue district. You got a car. You go to where the car is being sold or distributed or whatever, and you go ahead and handle your business. But because they haven't found anybody yet, and I don't know how.
Someone said in the chat they have. He said top 3 so far. Christopher Jackson said They caught 3.
Okay, they caught 3. Now, what did they do? Immediately check their voters registration status. You know what I mean? Like fuck all that other shit. Fuck their profile. Forget about the music they listen to, the videos that they watch, the websites that they frequent, the people that they know, the families that they come from. We just want to know: are you a donkey or an elephant? That's what we want to know right now. Like, this shit is ridiculous. It really is. But
Hello?
oh yeah, what up, Troy? Yeah, I mean, you was invited to jump in at any time.
I didn't. You know, I'd rather you invite me in for me to jump in. You know what I mean? Because I know as soon as I go straight to go, whoa, hold up, Troy, hold up.
You're right. But we free falling today. You good? So what's up with you?
Hey, Troy.
Hey, what's going on, Kevin? Well, you know, I mean, the whole situation. First of all, I agree. Americans are tired, but Americans don't get tired until it affects their bottom line. You understand what I'm saying? Like right now, like if Donald Trump was doing small stuff to help them out, it wouldn't be bothersome. You know, the first time they allowed this man, we appointed him to take care of that what is DOGE or DOGE, whatever the fuck it is.
DOGE.
Soon as they allowed him to take over that, number one, he's not even an elected official. You know what I mean? So for him to even do that, he is an immigrant from South Africa. Do he got a green card? We don't know. We don't know nothing about Elon Musk. You understand what I'm saying?
We know a lot. We know a lot about Elon Musk. That's the problem. We know
he's the richest man in the world. We know that. We know that he's right here affecting bottom lines of everybody right now.
We know that he is. We know that he has.
Fuck Tesla. We don't give teachers about Tesla.
We know that he's being paid $80 billion by the American government for a private business. We know that $80 billion. So, I mean, to deny that there's no conflict of interest is really ridiculous. It's like it's the most absurd thing. You know what I mean? It's like me putting my hands over your eyes and telling you that you can see. It's literally like that. But I think in just these 2 months, they have fucked people over so bad that they've, when we were doing comedy, you know how sometimes you would lose the crowd.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it is to bring them back. You know what I mean? It could be, I mean, because you might get the light or whatever, and the light, that's when it's whoever's hosting the show is telling you to get off stage because you ain't funny no more and you messing up the show. So it's like they have gotten the light and they've lost this crowd and it's hard to get them back because he has effectively lost the confidence that his most staunch supporters had in him. That's a problem. That's a major problem.
Son, do you realize something? They have yet to scratch the surface of the bullshit they're going to create. Because they have yet to even touch women's rights yet. That abortion issue haven't even been touched yet.
I don't think that that's not going to that's not even going to matter because with Trump in office, abortion is dead. They're not thinking about that. But see, abortion is one thing. Messing up people's money to be able to even afford abortion, that's serious shit. This man literally told everybody he was going to put food on their table for cheap. And he's literally taking it off of the table and telling everybody, like on some hypnotic shit, it's okay. You're okay with this. Matter of fact, let me get my little prop. Let me get my triangle prop. Yeah. He's literally doing this shit.
Ding.
You don't mind anything that I'm doing. You understand why you had to lose your job. Everything will be okay in just about 6 months. Follow my plan. You'll make it. We'll all be bigger and better and stronger. And people are starting to see that when he says that we'll be better and stronger, he doesn't mean them. He doesn't mean you. He doesn't mean me. He literally means the country. But he did say that. He said our country will be, we're bringing wealth to our country. That doesn't mean you. It doesn't mean you. It means your status as compared to other countries around the world. It doesn't mean any citizens. Just like when they talk about the economy, they're not talking about the working man and woman and children. They're talking about corporations. It's like the stock market. You're not talking about individuals. You're talking about corporate. So, I mean, people, I've told people that. Some people believed what I was saying. A lot of people didn't believe what I was saying. Now I don't have to say anything because it doesn't even matter what the definition of words are anymore. They're feeling it. When you were already struggling financially and then you lose your job and it ain't no jobs out there for you to go and get. Yeah, that's a serious situation. And that's what, when you back a man or a woman into, but especially a man, because a man, has an ego and we're already supposed to be leaders or whatever. So when you back a man into a corner where he doesn't have any choice but to come out swinging because you've taken everything away from him, he ain't got nothing to lose.
Desperation. That's what I'm saying. People are going to become more and more desperate. It's desperation. And that's why something ugly is coming. I don't know what, but it's going to be something ugly. And I don't think it's just going to be on the financial front. I do believe it's going to be a physical something that's going to happen to somebody that's going to be bad. I just do. I feel it. It is going to be. People are desperate. People are hungry. He celebrated coming up with the word groceries because, he is a wordsmith and he just creates all the new words.
Yeah, I never heard the word. I never heard the word groceries. I was
so unfamiliar with the word groceries.
I said, wow, groceries. Nobody
groceries and Cheerios. So, but groceries. He doesn't talk about him creating new foods anymore. He doesn't discuss groceries anymore. He had a whole display with him talking about grocery shopping and groceries when he was running, but immediately he stopped talking about that. That's nothing. And then he just kept throwing out eggs, so people focused on eggs and forgot that eggs aren't the only things that people buy. They buy other groceries that are ridiculously high. I'll give you an example. I buy guacamole and avocado cups because fresh avocados, you know how that goes with them. So sometimes I get the cups because they last longer, of course, and that's a better option for me. Well, I used to be able to buy them not bulk, but like 10 in a pack for like $9. Well, now that $9 is $16. I'm like, oh, okay. These are more than $1 a cup now. Grandma, $2. What? No. It was more because I don't eat eggs. So the price of eggs don't mean anything to me, but they mean something to the people who I love, who now are concerned about paying $18 for a carton of eggs. So, but they're not the only groceries that have gone up. All groceries have gone up. Gas has gone up. The price of products have gone up. The things we need to repair homes, our utilities, all these things have gone up. That's why I say he's focused on Tampa and instead of what matters. And that's why I say people are going to become more and more desperate. And I believe this is just the beginning of what's to come.
Well, he has to focus. He has to focus on Tesla and Elon because he would not be president if it wasn't for Elon. That's what we're seeing now. So Elon has to be taken care of. He is literally a priority over all of us. And it's showing. Like I said, follow the money and you find the truth. But ain't no way that man gave up almost $300 million and he ain't going and he's going to be put on the back burner in any kind of way. So that's why Donald Trump, in a grifting conflict of interest, stood right outside the White House and was buying and acting like he's buying a Tesla. Like, yeah, how is that going to put another billion in his pocket? Like, I mean, have you seen the numbers of how much he's lost with this Tesla thing? And this is not even just a United States thing. They fucking up dealerships and trading in Teslas and refusing to drive Teslas all over the world, especially.
It was just a recall. It was just a recall of the Cybertrucks.
Yo,
Yep.
Europe ain't fucking with Elon.
Oh no.
Ain't nobody.
No.
They know likey. They know likey he. So yeah, but I'm with you, Kim, because I don't eat eggs either. But I understand.
I don't eat eggs either.
Yeah, I mean, but I get it. I get it's not a shoot. I don't drink milk either. Other people drink milk.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know, so I mean, this is bigger than us. I know one thing. I have a job and I need money. And when people start losing their jobs in large numbers, I don't like to hear about that. Because I know it could be any of us at any time, depending on the industry. But to have imagine wherever you work, you get laid off or you get fired or whatever, and or some because of some shit that you didn't even do, and they just made up some shit, and then on top of that, you got to see him, you know, teasing you and ragging on you and waving a chainsaw and talking about we got rid of them like you were being greedy.
Oh no, or coming to meetings with your son on your shoulders.
Man, you know what?
I'm serious.
I know.
Then he walked out and left him later on at another.
I'm trying not. I'm trying not.
You remember you had him with you?
The reason I haven't been bringing up that kind of stuff is because to me that's a distraction.
It is.
I don't want to talk about his son and whether Trump appreciated him coming. I don't give a fuck about that because that's keeping a lot of people from concentrating on what's important. And that's your paycheck. That's your entitlements. You work all your life and all of that shit, and you expecting to retire sometime, and you realize that you're not going to be able to retire because you don't have enough money, because they don't have enough in your account that you've paid in your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And they telling you to retire early. Like, this is some bullshit. But they cutting the money, cutting the money. That's why I don't want to talk about all of these programs that they are cutting have money values attached to them. And that's what we keep trying to make this shit a social issue when it's a financial issue. This is a business issue. And we need to start asking ourselves not why he came in, why doesn't he wear a suit, or why would he bring his son to an official press conference or whatever. We need to ask, all right, if you're cutting these programs, where are you putting the money? Because you're only taking away. You're subtracting, but you're not adding anything. You haven't added one thing except for the one thing that is subtracting everything. So from what I know about business, and I'm not a guru, but I know that when you don't have to pay anybody, you have a surplus. So what are you doing with the surplus? You know, all of this. Yeah, I think I'm going to give everybody $5,000 and all of that shit. Motherfucker, stop playing.
In our face.
You know what I mean? Like,
what he's doing is he's trying to buy more votes, or he's sacrificing one thing to try to get to the next thing. I mean, don't give us money to pacifiers. Yeah,
he's not buying votes. He's buying those who are not thinkers, who are not really paying attention to what's going on. That's what he's doing, because unfortunately, I have a lot of people in my circle. Well, I'm not going to say a lot, but several people in my circle who are like, well, he's going to give us some money. I'm like, what money do you think he's going to give you? Do you think he's going to get it out of his pocket and give it to you?
What the hell? Oh, shit. All right. The app disabled that they were calling on. So hold on. We're going to get it back. I will get both callers back. But before I get her back, let me just speak on this for a second. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Let me first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming through to the Daily Go Getimism show. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. And if you are, and even if you aren't, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. It helps the channel. It helps the channel. And the channel needs all the help that it can get. So we're talking about January 6th versus the burning or destruction of the Tesla dealerships. And I want to really get focused on comparing the two, because there are a lot of properties that they share.
You have a call.
There are a lot of properties that they share together, and there are some things about the two that don't match, and that we may have to take a deeper look into at some point in time. Maybe not now, but at some time in our near future, we may have to really start taking a look at it. Troy, thanks for calling back in. I'm going to call Kim in a minute. But here's the thing. You know, when we start comparing these two things, first of all, Troy, let me ask you, which one do you think was worse? The January 6th insurrection or invasion, or whatever we want to call it, or the burning of the Tesla dealership?
The January 6th insurrection, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, there was an attack on our democracy. You understand? And that was trying to steal an election that wasn't even that the voters already voted for. But not just that, it put by even with that right there, that the insurrection and the pardon of them was just as worse. You know, we both put them right there. That Tesla shit don't mean a damn thing. Mm-hmm. That's personal gain. That's him. That's Elon Musk shit. That had nothing to do with this country. He bought the election for Donald Trump, and now he has to reap the rewards from it. And what it does right now is making it even worse on this country. Mm-hmm. Because you got to pacify him. You know, you pacify him, and it's not benefit. But even if you take Elon Musk out of the equation, we still got Donald Trump. So I mean, it's like pick your poison. One poison ain't no better than the other poison. This shit is bred like a student body in high school.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'm not sure if people have taken into consideration when it comes to comparing these two things. When I don't see how you could watch what happened on January 6th and feel safe at that time. Like that. If there was anything that you've ever seen in your life that looked like it had gone too far, it had to be that. Like, hold on, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, we don't do this. There's no other incidences of people trying to take over the Capitol, trying to basically take government into their own hand. Like, we've never seen anything like that before. I mean, that was the most horrific part of it to me. Like, I'm like, what do you think you're doing?
Another thing that added to that is, like I try to tell people, no matter how much you look at that, you always got to add to the fact that if you twist it and you turn the tables, just imagine if all the people were black or minorities. There was none. There was only one protest they killed, and that's because she tried to climb through the window and almost got to the Congress. The rest of the people that was killed or committed suicide were the cops. Other than that, everybody else was locked up. There was one murder, and the rest was cops. Now, twist that shit around. Look how he treated the protesters during the marches for George Floyd around the same time.
Wait, now I don't want to go into all that. But check this out.
I don't want to go. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is that I'm not going there. But what I'm saying is that when you twist it, that's what gave me post-traumatic stress disorder. Because I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, oh my God, could you imagine?
See, here's the thing with the George Floyd thing and all of that. That I don't believe that was all Democrats, and it wasn't. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to tell me that all Republicans were okay with that man being killed that way. You're not going to tell me that shit. You know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. But you can best fucking believe there were no Democrats storming that Capitol. That's one thing you can bank on. You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, there's no way you could watch the storming of the Capitol and feel like, yo, this makes me feel secure. No fucking way. You know, even if you agree with it, you can't say it made you feel safe. You know what I mean? I bet you Mike Pence didn't feel safe. He's a Republican. He was not safe. So
this country right now.
Hold on. Yeah, but hold on. You know what? I never gave a fuck whether this country is a laughing stock. I'm worried about my ability to be able to laugh or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a shit about the way the rest of the world looks at this country, because when black people were getting their ass whooped in slavery and Jim Crow and all of that shit, no other country came to rescue us. So I don't really give a fuck how we look to another country. We have bigger fish to fry right here at the crib. So, but the thing is, destroying these Tesla dealerships does not make me feel unsafe. That's the difference. Why would I feel unsafe over some Tesla dealerships getting burnt down or vandalized, or some cars getting? I don't own a Tesla. Never wanted one. So, you know, this is a little different from the eggs thing, because I'm like, nobody is mad at the farmers because of the bird flu and the egg prices. But people are mad at Elon Musk because they feel like, and justifiably so, that he directly affected their livelihood. And so, you know, people can say whatever they want. I don't care if you are a Trump supporter or not. What you can't do is you can't defend him right now. There's nothing you can really say. You can try to say some things. I've heard some people say some things, but what are you really saying? If you don't make six figures, and even if you do, because his policies don't fit people who make six figures. They only fit people who make 7 and up. So 6-figure people, they're going to get hurt because you still middle class and within 6 figures. And the middle class pays all the taxes. So this is a bad thing. Now, I mean, sure, you can say, well, yeah, but he's trying to cut taxes or eliminate the IRS and all. Fuck out of here. He said that shit when he was campaigning for his first term. How'd that turn out? You think I'm going for that shit again? I mean, I didn't vote for him. I wouldn't vote for him. But you know, I remember what he said, and I remember they didn't make him stick to that. They didn't hold him to the fire for that. And it doesn't look like they're holding him to the fire for it right now, because people have lost their jobs so much, and it's so bad. The economy is so bad to the way you can feel it. You know what I mean? Now you can lie all you want. You're not going to tell me that you're doing better now than you were 3 months ago. There's no way you can say that shit. You know what I mean? So you can stop lying. But anyway, so that's my point of view with this whole thing. Like, there's no comparison. There's no.
Tesla is a personal situation. The Capitol being the insurrection is a country situation. Two different entities. You know what I mean? That don't have. We can get two shits about that. That shit has nothing to do with anything. And that's Democrat, Republicans, Independents. They're doing that. Everybody is on board with doing that to Tesla because you just fired everybody, and people are losing money. So when they losing money, what you think they're going to do? They're going to protest it. How they protest? Whether they protest by marching or at nighttime when the Tesla dealerships is closed, they're going to firebomb. They're going to do everything. You messing up their bottom line, they're going to mess up your bottom line. And that's how it goes. You know, don't sit, they go on TV and want to put Democrats doing that. No, it's everybody's doing it. Anybody that's affected by it, they're doing that. They're doing that. It has nothing to do with, it's not a black and white, it's not a Republican, it's not a Democrat, it's not an independent. It's a conglomerate of people that's coming together and fighting the power of the bullshit that's going on in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going on right now. You can't sit back and there's not. We both agree that until the Democrats are now going into these red states now and doing their own town halls. But even if no matter what, it has to be Republicans, not the MAGA Republicans. There has to be infighting within the Republican Party to put things back on course. Because right now there's no Republicans standing up to the bullshit. You know what I mean? And that's the problem right now. The Democrats Democrats can go in the forefront and march and fight and do all that shit. But until there's some type of infighting within the Republican Party and that shit is broken down, the monopoly is broken down, and Trump has to fight within that party, there's not going to be any problems right now. There's not going to be things done.
Okay. Hold on a second.
You have a call from.
All right. So hold on, y'all. I want to address some folks in the chat. Gavin says, I did not enjoy the Biden years. You didn't have to necessarily enjoy them, but are you enjoying yourself now? I mean, honestly, if we want to look at it from a global perspective, Biden was the Philadelphia Eagles. He was basically winning the Super Bowl, and now this off season we looking bad. But the thing is, this country ain't no off season. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the next season, and it's fucked up. So like, I'm not going for the bullshit. Listen, man, I know what it's like to ride for a team, whatever. But hey, they gotta produce. I'm from Philly. We boo when our teams don't produce. That's how it doesn't mean.
Can you ask that individual, like, what did Biden do in the Biden?
No. We ain't going into all of that because
I just want to know because I don't see Trump or Elon Musk or Vance or anybody doing anything spectacular. I don't care about no AIDS. I don't eat AIDS.
See,
that's gross.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you are a MAGA, when you follow MAGA, everything that Democrats do, you are totally against. So you're never going to convince them, even with the most staunch logic, about that Democrats have done anything good. They are not conditioned to hear that shit. So I don't even go into that. But what they will understand is, how are you fucking doing? Are there extra commas on your check or not? Have they been increased or reduced? Because anybody can understand that. Fuck your party. I don't care. Are you doing better or are you doing worse? And there's nobody who is making less than 8 figures who is doing better right now. Y'all fucked up. So you can talk all that shit that you want, but you know you lying if you say you're doing better. You're not. Now
that's why they're protesting the governors in the area.
If you got an increase at your job, you got it from the Biden era, and it probably didn't have anything to do with him. One thing you didn't do, you didn't get any raises or promotions or increases in salary during this administration. Now you can always say, well, it's still early. He's only been in there for 2 months, going on 3 months. So you got to give him a chance. Well, you should have told your man to give himself a chance, because that's not how he talks. And he talked all of this 24 hours shit, and he got some things done, the things that he wanted to do. Some of the things that we're talking about tonight, the January 6th insurrectionists, he got them all a pardon. That day that he was inaugurated, he got it done that day. But he didn't do the thing that people wanted the most. I didn't hear nobody crying for the January 6th hostages to be pardoned. I didn't hear nobody crying about that shit. They was crying over food prices, crying over gas prices, crying over recreational prices, crying over the housing, educational costs and shit like that. That's what they were concerned about, and that's what they wanted done on day one. And you ain't nowhere near doing that shit, even in nearing day 100. That's the problem. Christopher Jackson says, come on, you don't think Tesla has insurance? It's a stupid protest. Okay, yes, of course Tesla has insurance. But see, once you start fucking up the insurance companies and all of that shit, that brings down the economy more. So just like when if they have to pay out all of that money, that means that insurance premiums for everybody across the board starts to go up. How do I know this? My home insurance, my homeowner's insurance just went up. So did my car insurance. It went up. It wasn't because I got in an accident, and it wasn't because I got a claim. All of this shit is going up. You know what else went up? T-Mobile. My bill just went up. So shit is going up. It's not coming down. Inflation is going up, and that affects you. Because I figure if T-Mobile is going up, AT&T ain't far behind. Comcast ain't far, or Xfinity, whatever the fuck they call their mobile, because they work off of the Verizon network. Verizon will be going up too. Everybody's going up, so you're gonna feel that. Christopher Jackson says, "I survived the Biden, and I will survive Trump." You survived Biden because it was easy to do that. This is hard.
Nothing was going on during Biden like this.
Listen, you can't tell them that shit. This shit is a fucking illusion.
If you support MAGA, you've seen something. Let's see you support. This is exactly what we say. Let's see.
So let me see. Oh, Gavin says, so are Democrats still in favor of electric vehicles, or climate change isn't a thing anymore? Yes, we always on climate change, and we do want we did want electric vehicles. What we didn't want was losing our entitlement benefits, and you didn't want it either. Nobody wants Social Security gone. Nobody wants that shit gone. Nobody wants.
Maybe he wants the vandalism. People go to jail for 20 years for vandalism wasn't even in support of electric cars. Let's keep that in mind.
Trump does not like electric cars.
Exactly.
But he'll say anything to win. This man gave him $270 million that he needed. If he didn't give him that money, he loses the election. He's facing jail time.
Yeah.
On multiple cases, still pending. This man is the most important. This man is God to him. This is easy math. This is 1 + 1. This ain't calculus. This ain't even geometry, algebra 1. This is easy. This is the easy math. I don't understand why anybody is struggling with this shit. So once again, here we are. I just wanted to address that shit. Like I said, Trump doesn't like no electric vehicles, but his God, his daddy, his younger daddy is into the electric car business. So he like, shit, I like it now. You know what I mean? Shit, motherfucker. Trump is like Don King. Whatever boxer is winning, that's who I'm promoting. You know, fucking loyalty. I don't know these cats. You know what I mean? Whoever is putting the money in my pocket, whoever has the hot hand, that's what Donald Trump talks about. Popularity all of the time. He talks about ratings all the time. No president has ever talked about popularity and ratings. That's him. So what makes you think that he doesn't appreciate nepotism, that he doesn't appreciate the hierarchy of things? He praises whoever, you know. It used to be, I always thought it was so funny how when people bring up the subject of him having a racist past and all of that, and he wants to talk, they want to show you pictures of him with Mike Tyson, pictures of him with this black celebrity. I'm like, yes, he likes celebrities. He likes that. He's always like that. You know what he doesn't like? He don't like common niggas. He don't like common rednecks either. He don't like none of that shit. He don't have no appreciation for that. Huh?
He don't like people who don't have any money.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And he only likes black celebrities who have a little bit of money. He likes
fame. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, shoot, if I'm a white racist or something like that, yeah, I might not like black people, but I might like Michael Jordan. I might like Michael Jackson.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's the norm.
That's different. That's Archie Bunker. He didn't front on. He even let Sammy Davis Jr. sit in his chair. Fuck you think this is?
Well, remember what he said to Brian Donaldson. He's one of the good ones. Remember, that's what Trump said. He's one of the good ones.
You mean Byron Donalds?
No, Byron Donalds, yeah.
Oh, bitch ass nigga. Yeah, well, I'm sure he's feeling it too. Life ain't all that good for Byron Donalds right now.
Yeah, he asked for what he got. I don't feel no sympathy for him.
Well,
you know, I mean, that's the whole thing about everything that you say. Everything that you're saying is 100% right, man. I mean, it's like I said, until there's some type of insurrection within the Republican Party, it's going to get worse. Because Democrats can do what they can do in March or until the midterms come. We haven't even made it a year with this bastard yet.
We're not going to make, there won't be no midterms, sir. The voting process is dead. There won't be any midterms, sir. I can guarantee you there will not be any midterm elections this time. The whole voting shit, he wasn't bullshitting when he said all you have to do is vote this last time. We'll have it fixed so you won't even have to work. You won't have to do this no more. He wasn't bullshit.
Well, I would like to see how he's gonna fix that.
Well, it's already in motion because
do you think he can't? Do you think he can't, Troy? You think
what I'm saying is that I think anybody can do whatever they want to do. But I would love to see how it's going to happen, and I would like to see the outcome behind it.
Well, let me put you on to the process of how it's already in motion. He already has the House and the Senate. It's a minor majority. It's a minor majority, but he's already talking about dismantling the post office and privatizing the post office. Now you have to think about what the post office uses, what people use the post office for. A lot of people voted through what? Post office. Especially if you're sick and shut in, how are you going to get out to vote? So if he can manage, and I'm not saying that he's going to do it in time, but this is what he's putting in place. So if he has enough time and puts in enough effort, which I'm sure he will do, to be able to take apart the U.S. Postal Service, and he has a justifiable reason for taking apart the Postal Service, the U.S. Postal Service, because they've been operating in deficit for years and years and years. The thing is, the post office is not supposed to generate a bunch of revenue. The post office is a public service, and it can't be denied. People need the post office. Now, if he finds a way to convince people that the post office doesn't need to exist anymore, which will get rid of even more veterans and postal workers, so more jobs will be lost, and you will have the justification that they've lost all of these billions of dollars, and we're cutting waste and spending, so the post office needs to go. So now your mail goes through FedEx, UPS, DHL, and services like that. You think your votes are getting anywhere? That's dead, sir. It's over.
Well, you sure make it happen, because the postmaster who was put in place by him has stepped down. So we don't even have a postmaster anymore.
Yeah. So it's funny because all of these things that he does out in the public, you got to watch what this motherfucker does behind the scenes. He makes devastating moves behind the scenes, but they're not really behind the scenes. It's just that you have to watch or keep up with the information sources that will let you know what's going on and who the players are. So right now we're not in a good space as far as, because listen, he doesn't like elections. I mean, he hasn't made that very secret. It's bad enough that Republicans win by suppressing the vote in the first place, but he's about to suppress it to the point of elimination. So, I mean, you can deny that he wants to be king and all that shit. I'm like, yeah.
Well, he said it. He said it.
Well, I mean, let his supporters tell it. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he means.
I mean, we can only go by what he says. He says exactly what he says.
Well, he said he didn't know anything about. He said he didn't know anything about Project 25.
He don't know anything about it.
You already knew that was a lie, man.
Listen,
you already knew that was a lie.
Man, you know how many. You know how many.
About the breach.
Do you know how many people?
He didn't know about the leak, the conversation that should have went on privately that someone else a reporter was in on. He said he didn't know anything about that. So.
You know how many people? If you only knew how many people I know that take him at his word. So when he said he didn't know anything about Project 2025, I know people who took him at his word. I was like, God damn, man, this is crazy. So when he says that there's no Russian interference, when he says he doesn't have any dealings when it comes to Russia or whatever, like, people take him at his word. They really believe that shit. They believe there's something about him that makes his supporters believe the shit that he says. He has hypnotic appeal. This shit is crazy. Some Pied Piper shit. But okay, so now I want to ask y'all this about this whole vandalizing the Tesla dealership. If enough people get caught, what do you think should happen to them?
I mean, it's vandalism. Not just it's fair, it's fair. It's vandalism, no matter whose property it is. It's still vandalism. So it needs to be a punishment, but the punishment should fit the crime. That's for sure. 20 years behind bars for it, I don't agree with that at all. That doesn't even make any sense. Like rapists get less time than that. So no, that doesn't make any logical sense at all.
Technically, it's bigger than just vandalism because they're not spray painting shit. They are burning. So there's arson. And that's definitely a big felony. And with the molotov cocktails, with them moving that up to uses of weapons of mass destruction, you're multiplying violations and getting them up to a higher level than what vandalism is suggesting. So, Troy, what do you think? What do you think should happen to people who get caught doing this?
I agree. The punishment should fit the crime, but when you're dealing with the social norms of today, they're going to try to make examples out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless about what the law is or what crime you're doing, because like you said, they're not spraying them. It's pretty much arson. That's what it should. That's the crime. But I mean, I guess that person would have to be locked up until if there's the next election for president, and then the next president come in. If Donald Trump not voted in the well, God forbid it's a third term, but that person come in and just pardon everybody. I mean, this is the new thing, pardons. So I mean, at the end of the day, man, I don't really care about what, like you said, I don't care about what the world think about us. I worry about what we think about us in this country. In this country, with this man in office, it's hell. It's going to be hell. I try, like I said, it's hard to ignore it because it's right there, smack dab, right in your face. I ain't trying to get off the subject, but somebody in his cabinet text somebody war information today.
Mm-hmm.
You see, this is what I mean. There's never a day that go by that you can say, "Let me breathe for a minute."
Never.
You haven't. I mean, through Biden's whole administration, I didn't even think about it. I didn't think about nothing because once he got out of office, once Trump got voted out of office, I just I was cool. I was comfortable
because you didn't have to see him on TV every day.
Right, you didn't have to see him on TV every day. You knew there was some type of morality in his book, other than the fact that the MAGA Republicans was going to do everything in their power to bring down the democracy again.
Well, I feel like this man was in our face since 2016, and he just didn't go anywhere. He's been doing those
even though we didn't see him on TV, son, he was always still in the news. Always in the news.
So I don't know.
Is this what y'all? Hold on, y'all. Is this what y'all talking about? Wait a minute. Fuck, man. Oh, yeah, get that out of here too. It says a decade ago this month, America found out that Hillary Clinton used a private email server to communicate while serving as Secretary of State. And later, that handful of messages had classified markings. The revelations dogged her 2016 presidential campaign, leading to the lengthy FBI investigation and Donald Trump's promise to put her in prison, lock her up. His rally crowds chanted. If he won, he was the victor, but he didn't pursue the tough to win prosecution of Clinton. Now, it says 2 months into Trump's second presidency, the top officials in his administration were discussing sensitive military operations using a commercial encrypted cell phone app called Signal, the Atlantic reported Monday. Did y'all? Is that what y'all were talking about, or do y'all know anything about that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about at the top of the show.
Okay,
that's what I was talking about. That they had a private conversation. There was a reporter who was invited to this conversation by accident. They say
they texted the reporter.
The reporter didn't realize that he was in a meeting that should have been a private meeting, and when he heard it, he thought it was fake until what they said was going to happen happened, and then he was like, "Oh shit! I heard this private conversation that I should not have heard about military operations that were going to take place." And so his thought was anybody could have been on that call.
Well,
that's there, but he was. I mean, that's the things that's going on behind it. That's some things that that's the fears. You know, you got idiots. Like I said, you got the student government running the government. You got the high school student government running the government. You know, and everybody, and until there's a wake up call, you know, people die on planes. People, there's plane crashes, you unpresidential. Like, can I ask you a question? This is not to get off the subject, but sorry. Through all these years of presidents, have you ever heard of DEI until he became president?
You know, I asked that question before.
Did you ever? I've never thought of it. I never really gave two shits about it because it wasn't the focal point of anything until he got in office. I don't understand. You can erase whatever you want. You can't erase history. You cannot erase the history of the African American people in this country. Because number one, he's living in a building that he built. Majority of everything in this country was built. Like, honestly, if you give everything back to us, you won't have shit.
That's not just about black people. Let's be clear on that. DEI wasn't just about black people. It's something that goes all the way back to the First World War. That's the thing about it. In World War II, it had nothing to do with what he's made it be. He's taken words or events and turned them in. He made them buzzwords. He made them keywords. He made them phrases. He made them gifs and memes, and everyone just stuck to it, like the word woke. I have a friend now who's like, yeah, the woke Democrats, and I'm like, you're an idiot, and I hate you today. Because my thing is, dude, we watched the same fucking movies growing up. You heard the word woke on school days. So now you're saying it has something to do with Trump. What is wrong with you? And that's just shit.
Can I ask you a question? What does DEI mean?
So
diversity, equity, and inclusion.
It's anyone who's not a heterosexual white male. That's just really what it boils down to. Because it goes against every other ethnicity that's not Caucasian. It goes against women, and it goes against the LGBTQ plus community. Which is stupid to say because there's still people, still women, still and blah blah blah. But it goes against those different groups that are outside of Caucasian, heterosexual, air quote, male. That's what it goes against. But it's not something new. That's why when people are doing a protest against Target and stuff, I think it's stupid. I still do. Because it's not what you
right, but see, the thing is, it's not nothing new. And I understand it ain't nothing new. It was nothing that was brought up for years and years until this administration got back in office. It wasn't even brought up in 2016 when he got in office.
No, because he didn't know it. He didn't even know what it meant. And I don't think half the people who use it know what it means now. It ultimately came about during the war to give those veterans, white veterans, who came home from the war jobs. That's one. Two, it gave their white wives jobs, while their men were gone off to war. That's what it was, the premise it was built on in the beginning. And then it turned into other stuff, just like affirmative action became something else. It all became something else from generation to generation. It fit the time. It fit the time. That's all it did. But he found a way to turn it into something negative, and a lot of people got on the bandwagon, and nobody did their research because a lot of people didn't pay attention in history class in school. And I'm not just talking about the regular history books we're taught. Nobody went to the library and read a book. Nobody paid attention to anything outside of what we heard in the classroom, the majority of people. So they didn't even understand it. And they didn't keep up with politics or anything that had anything to do with anything. And so it was easy for people to latch onto it and go with it without knowing what it really means. To this day, I don't even think that idiot understood what it means. I don't think he knows what it means right now, for real. He just knew he was able to take it and make it into a buzzword. Like he used groceries. That's a new word. I created groceries. It's a buzzword.
Well, when he was using DEI, he was using that as a catcall for.
Oh, there you go.
He was using
catcall.
He was using it as a catcall for to pretty much say that black people or anybody, mostly black people, were getting jobs. Now, of course, whenever he was called on that, then he would revert back to what the term actually meant. So it was a lot of slippery shit going on with the whole term. But the bottom line is when you think about what diversity, equity, and inclusion is pretty much everything, just like you said, everything except for white male Protestants. That's what they want. So that's where the nepotism comes in. And the good old boy system has been working for them for centuries or whatever, and they want to keep it that way. I don't blame them. If I was one of them, I would want to keep it that way. Also, and they feel like they're being eliminated. That shouldn't give them the green light to just run amok on everybody else. But they're trying to get everybody to understand what they really mean by making America great again. America was great in their eyes when white Anglo-Saxon Protestants were running shit. Male.
The men. Male.
Yeah.
Because the women were forced to sit at home. They could get beat on and raped.
Well, the thing is,
no one to protect them.
The women who were able to stay home were the women who were married to men who could afford to allow them to stay home. Of course, he knows all about that because he comes from money. So he doesn't he doesn't understand. Just like with the whole cutting of education thing. Yeah, of course, it would be easy for me to consider cutting public school education too if I never went to a public school. Of course, when you go to private schools, I've gone to private schools before, so I know how they talk about public schools. I've heard them talk about it. The thing is, I've gone to public schools too. So whenever I heard them talk about it, I'm thinking like, well, y'all ain't teaching nothing that they don't teach in public school. But a lot of the area and the school that you go to plays a major part. But to suggest that all public schools need to be eliminated or the public school system needs to be eliminated with whatever because they're not learning anything or whatever, it's pretty absurd. It's not pretty absurd. It's totally ridiculous. But I understand where they're coming from. When you've been taught all your life that you're superior, that you're better, your facilities, your amenities, your resources are better, you're going to believe that. I mean, it's a source of pride for you. So I understand that part of it. The thing is, the world consists of many different people, many different cultures, many different ways of life. And those things have to be respected. So when we get to the point where we're not respecting those factions, those entities, those groups, those cultures, those ways of lives, yeah, we run into a situation similar to the one we have now. Now, I didn't get a chance to answer the question myself about what I think should happen with these Tesla, with these vandals or these terrorists or whatever they get labeled as or called. Um, Idealistically, I think that they should be caught, arrested, prosecuted, and pardoned. That's what I think. I think that they should be arrested, charged, and pardoned.
But by who?
Well, I'm just saying what I think. Now, what I what I mean. I'm
That's
just
a lot
going.
of people think he needs to be arrested and charged because he's a criminal himself. So
Yeah, well, I know that if they are caught during this administration, it's going to be a bad time. It's definitely they're definitely going to pay for this because they messing up money. That's what they're doing. They're messing up money. And while he's worried about his Tesla stock dropping, and it has dropped considerably.
yes,
Let me see.
around the globe, it has around the globe.
Let me see. How much has Tesla stock dropped? Okay, wait a minute. No. How much has Tesla lost in recent weeks? Let's put it that way. All right. Musk has lost more than 100 billion since December.
Beautiful.
I mean, when you really think about it, that's crazy as shit.
It's only about $1 million now, though.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, to be able to lose $100 billion and still be all right is crazy. But he made so much money when Trump won that he's probably still up.
Mm-hmm.
And but
what's sad is some news is reporting that his stocks are up. It's amazing. While some others are saying, yeah, he's dragging down the stock price, and Tesla has 53% stock crash. While some are like, oh, he's doing great. Like, so we see who's doing what. We see what news media has sold out for in fear.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. His net worth is allegedly 327.3 billion. So if he lost 100 billion, that puts a real big chunk in his bottom line. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money, and it's almost 1/3 of what he has. So nobody is going to look at a loss like that. They're not going to smile and laugh about a loss like that. So, he has to do something to stop the bleeding, because around the world, like I said, like we were talking about earlier, this is not just an American thing. This is not just going on in the United States. People are mad at him in Europe. People are mad at him in Asia. People are mad at him in a lot of different places, and maybe all major continents. And it's not easy. It's not easy to recover from that. This is a big deal. So you can talk about what's going on in the United States and how you think that it's only Democrats doing this shit, but there's no way that it's only Democrats. Republicans are absolutely into this shit. It has their tattoo on it. It has their birthmark all on it. Even Elon Musk said it. He said normally the Democrats are the party of compassion and reason, or he said something along those lines. And I'm thinking, like, once he got to the point where he was saying that, Tesla has never done anything bad, they've only done good things and all of that. And I'm thinking, like, wow, dude, Wow. But that shows more than his ignorance. It shows that, yeah, the chinks in the armor are showing. Like, this is hurting everybody. You know, it's one thing for people not to like you when they can't do anything to you or anything about you. People don't like him and they're doing something about him. And
But the thing about it is that he's excluding himself from Tesla as if he's not Tesla. Tesla has never done nothing to nobody.
Well,
you are Tesla.
It's not that Tesla hasn't done anything to anybody either. You know what I mean? Those cars are fucked up, and I've heard that their business practices in the dealerships and in the manufacturing plants, I heard that it's very discriminatory. Is a bad look. So to say that they've never done anything, only good things, like, yeah, like when Donald Trump says that he's done more for black people than any other president since Abraham Lincoln.
I mean, you're a property of who's the man who's running the country, who's running the company. I mean, he's from South Africa, so we can imagine what was he brought up on, apartheid.
But yeah, he was absolutely brought up on that.
So I mean, at the end of the day, when you sit back and you hear him talk or you see his smug ass look, you know, everything, you know, people think that is about money. You want likability and you want to be respected, but how can you be respected when you just an asshole? You know, it has nothing to do. You sitting up here and you just, you know, I can see you breaking down companies or laying off people, but just terminating things without even giving a thought process of why you're doing it and what's the next thing behind it. You understand what I'm saying? That's what Donald Trump do. You see, like you pretty much said it before. You said he sit back, he say what he gonna do, he don't do it, and it's forgot about. You know, just like he did with healthcare years ago. Never heard nothing about healthcare. Still haven't heard nothing about healthcare. You're not gonna hear shit about nothing. You're not gonna hear shit about what needs to happen. You're gonna hear shit about what he wants to happen. This is, like I said, it's going to be 4 years of the same bullshit. Even worse. You know.
I think he's going to survive 4 years. I don't think he's going to survive 4 years.
You don't think he's going to last 4 years?
Well, he's not a young man.
Yeah, I don't think he's
It ain't sweet like that. It's not sweet like that. Yeah. And, you know, I'm dealing with parents and other loved ones in their 80s, you that decline. When you hit 80, you might be cool at 79. That 80 kick in, it's like you start taking a series of body blows, and you know that'll buckle you.
Well, you can see he started to decline already, so.
Well, my thing is,
I mean,
I asked you that before. I said, so do you think Vance will be better? You said, I think he'll be a lot better than what we got.
I do. JD Vance doesn't really like Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he called him a straight Nazi. I mean,
well, you know, on this leaked call, he was one of the ones who was going against the grain.
Yeah. JD Vance is like Trump in that he'll go wherever the money, you know, goes, and he'll compromise himself to be or adjust himself to do whatever is going to get him where his ambition wants to take him. But yeah, I know that he has better ideas for the country than Trump does. This shit that Trump wants to do is 80-year-old man shit. This is not normal shit. This is not a normal thinking man. I mean, and you know, and his supporters, they're ridiculous too. Like I'm looking at in the chat where Christopher Jackson says, that makes zero sense. Republicans are hindering the man that they put hindering the man that put their man in office. Well, a lot of things may not make sense on paper. They may not even make sense in real time. And just because something doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense to somebody else. I mean, when you really think about it, it makes no sense that people who are poor will go fight for a country that's not going to make them rich, but they do it. They do it.
And it's a split in the party. Don't forget, it's a split in the party, so it's not even Republicans per se. It's
So what he thinks is that the Republicans that vote for him is still going to be there for him, not realizing that the same Republicans that voted for him are the ones that he fired, or the ones that's losing money, or the ones that he's fucking up their bottom line. And they still want to back him. That's what he thinks. The person, what's his name, Chris, whatever his name is. What you have to realize is, at some point in time, there's going to be kickback on some things. Even when Biden was in office, if he fucked up Democratic bottom lines, people said something. With every president, Barack, they said something. Anything that was fucked up on the bottom line, whether it's Republican, Democrat, whatever bottom line was fucked up. If you're a Democrat, if you vote Democrat and Barack fucked up your bottom line, you gonna say something up. Barack fucking up. So, I mean, I don't understand why he thinks that, but that's a different person. Man.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you part of the reason that I think that he thinks that way is because if and when January 6th wasn't a deal breaker for you, then there is no ceiling for you.
Right.
There's no. I mean, when you're not talking to somebody, you're not talking about somebody who really clearly wants to have a logical discussion about anything. If January 6th wasn't the deal breaker for you, if you could muster up the belief, faith, and reliance on this man in order to vote for him for president again after January 6th, there's nothing we have to talk about.
Right. I mean, that's the same thing. I mean, that's pretty much what everything that has to do. Like, if when them 23 kids and them 3 teachers got killed up in Connecticut, if that wasn't a big reason to do gun control or gun legislation, then you might as well just leave it alone. If y'all don't want to deal with the NRA over that shit, then it's the same thing with this. If January 6th, if you condone that shit, there's nothing to talk about because you can see no wrong in nothing that he does.
None whatsoever, and that's literally what we're dealing with. That is literally what we're working.
In order for you to move, instead of putting your thoughts about, well, he's a Republican. No, he's a politician that should be benefiting both parties. You don't. Just because he's a Republican don't mean that he's a president of the people, not a president of the Republican Party. But see, that's what he just thinks. And the people that voted for him just think that he's just a Republican Party president. No, he's the president of the people. Well, and when people start realizing, like I told you before, if he ran, and I even thought that he had some type of positive shit going on with him, and I didn't think about that, the part that I know that he's racist, he might have got a hold. But he's so fucking, listen, man, I don't even know how to talk about him anymore. We already know who he is. He is who he said he is. He's doing what he said he was going to do. He did it before. There's no even reason to sit up here and talk about this bastard. He is who he is. Mm-hmm. And what he's doing is he's not making America great again. He's making it worse and making it more ugly and divisive as it's ever been.
No, he's taking it back. He's taking it back to what it was that he's familiar with.
Right.
Those times in the 60s and all of that, that's before we were born. But that shit was that shit is way, way different and worse. And he wants to take it back to the 50s when he was growing up. So you know what that's about. That shit That shit. That was a.
They talking about. I'm on YouTube and I'm looking at the news and I'm looking at the captions. They talking about he wants to make the armed forces. He wants to whitewash the armed forces. Well, go ahead.
Well, he's already talking about, the whole segregation thing, bringing back segregation, or relaxing the anti-segregation laws and all that kind of stuff. I mean, listen, I'm just watching. I'm just paying attention. I'm like, see. So all of the people who defended him before, I'm like, well, he's giving you way more material to defend now, but it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher. While you explain his way out of it, and he don't even explain it, he leaves it to you to explain it, like you work for him. Well, I mean, more power to you. God bless you.
I don't understand that at all. I know people in my circle who just spend a lot of time explaining him, and I'm like, he doesn't even say this, so why are you saying it?
I'm telling you
exactly what he means. Why are you defending him and trying to explain away what we heard him say? And then now I'm with, well, Kim is probably AI, and I'm like, you're an idiot. You're talking to somebody like, you can't tell me something like that, not me. You can probably tell somebody over there that who's unfamiliar with artificial intelligence and machine learning, but you can't tell me that and think it's going to work. So no, it's not AI. We heard him say these words out of his mouth. Some of the stuff he said on the campaign trail.
Yep.
People are doing everything in there. I don't get it. And some of them are people who are like, I don't care about either side. You don't, but you're defending him. What's wrong with you then? Why are we having this discussion?
But that's the cover up. The cover up. When they know he's doing wrong, and they don't want to face the fact that he's doing wrong, then the thing to go to is that, well, I don't care about either side. I don't really care about what happened. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Don't do it.
Yeah, all of that. We gonna see about all of that. Yeah, and you're right, because everybody I hear say, it's not about either side. They always on the right side. You know what I'm saying? They always on the GOP side, but I get it. A lot of people, what they say, you shouldn't discuss religion or politics. So I get it.
No.
All right, y'all.
Hey, well, before we go, son, maybe next time we have a discussion, since the people in the chat know so much, tell them what is this money that everybody's supposed to save with him being in office? So that's the argument. He's going to save us so much money. Our pockets are going to be bigger. I would like for someone to explain that to me, make it make sense. That's what I'd like to happen. So,
yeah, well, I'll be waiting for it because I like to save money. I'll be waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this windfall of money that's going to just fall into my lap as well, man.
Yeah, it's a spiritual stimmy. All right, y'all. Listen, I want to thank y'all.
Did you say a spiritual stimmy?
The spiritual stimmy, baby. You ain't got to see it. It's there. It's like God. All right. Thanks for calling in, y'all. Appreciate y'all as usual. Time to get on out of here. We'll do these birthday shout outs and then, yeah.
Have a good night,
brother. You too.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All right, much love.
Peace. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious March 24th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them, making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Kyra Stewart, and also Rosita Rosado, Sharon Yvonne Little Jackson. Okay, wait a minute. And then they break it up. My man Roy Butch DJ B Nice Smith. And also Brittany Ann Moesha McIntyre. No relation. But what up, guys? What's good? And Stacey Harris, Tanya Grant, and is there more? My man Brian Dozier from Penn State, and Key Ronica J. Last but not least, I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious March 24th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn to rock out. Rock on and do the damn rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, let's see here. Before we get up out of here, I want to take a look at this poll. Poll question with the tally of 26 votes. Which violation was worse? January 6th Capitol invasion, 27%. It was leading earlier. Destruction of Tesla dealerships, 23%. Pardoning of January 6th invaders, 15%, and 35% is cutting benefits for veterans, seniors, etc. Is leading with 35%. That's an interesting poll. And what I think is more interesting is how it shifted after a while. It shifted. But, a crime is a crime, and I don't want to be on here advocating for any crime. As a businessman myself, I know what it's like to be targeted. I know what it's like for people to think that you have money to burn or money to lose, or, they think that things don't affect you or shouldn't affect you the way that they actually do. I don't feel sorry for Elon Musk even a little bit. I wouldn't feel sorry for Trump if he twisted his ankle or anything like that. There's nothing that can make me feel, sorry for him. Like if he got bit by mosquitoes or his hair implants fell out. I don't like those men, but justice is justice, fairness is fairness, and what's right is right. I don't think that it's right that those Tesla dealerships should be targeted and burned or whatever. But I'm more concerned about the safety of our fellow man, woman, and child. They got to eat. They need food. They need clothing. They need the American dream more than anybody else. The middle class has been suffering for a long time, and we voted somebody in office who doesn't give a shit about the middle class. He never mentions anything about the middle class, and he definitely never talks about expanding them, growing them, or helping them. And that's something that you have to take into consideration. Is that just a Democrat talking point when you're talking about building up the middle class? Perhaps, but it speaks to me, and it may speak to you too. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night at 2 a.m. So make sure you come through. I want to see you. All right. Hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Share the show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. All right. So we out of here, man. Y'all be safe. Either go to bed or go to work.